Welcome to Evenings with Michael. We've had some momentous news of temporary ceasefire, but let's go over the stock news of the day. Tesla, TSLA, which we have right up here, broke out as it rolled out its first robo-taxi service in Austin, Texas, key part of the autonomous vehicle features. Earlier this month, they announced a new date in a recent post on X saying Tesla executives were super paranoid about safety, so the date could shift. Dash. And we have a little problem with our internet here. So we are back and now have another problem with the internet. We're going to pause this for a second. So we're back. Yes, this internet is very unstable, but we'll keep going on. This is DoorDash was upgraded to strong buy from outperform at Raymond James, raised price target to 260 from 215. And it had a little breakout here after a nice tight formation right along the 10-day moving average. On to Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder was upgraded to buy from hold at Deutsche Bank due to increased evidence that the firm is diversifying beyond China for future growth. Got a little pop-out breakout as well. And moving on to Li Auto. Li Auto said it will introduce a new electronic SUV in September, and they break out because of that. Nice gap up on that news, up 8%. Still a little ways away from the pivot zone right up here. So Mitsubishi, we don't have a chart for that, but plans to invest nearly $4 billion to boost solar power generation in the U.S., Misaki Kondo, a Bloomberg reports. Oil markets are reacted today, but they calmed down and they pretty much sold off. We'll take a look at that when we look at the indexes in a minute. Two super tankers of about 2 million barrels turned around, did a U-turn in the Strait of Hormuz after U.S. airstrikes. And now it looks like we got a ceasefire. Earlier on Trump's social, Trump said he hated the green tax credits in the big, beautiful bill. Energy should not be a subsidy. Thinks windmills and solar is a bunch of junk, and Most of it is produced in China, he says. Time to break away finally from all this craziness. On to FMC. FMC upgraded to overweight from equal weight at Wells Fargo and raised target to $50 from 41. Bank of New York approached Northern Trust. See if we can get Bank of New York to come up. Bank of New York approached Northern Trust to discuss a potential merger. Bank of New York pulled back on the news, as we can see right here, about 2%. And Northern Trust gapped up. Two firms did not discuss a specific offer. And on to Equifax. Oh, we're got another internet slowdown. See if we can get this going again. Did come back. And it wanted to aggravate me again. There's Northern Trust, gap up. You can trust me on that, up 8%. Equifax downgraded to neutral from buy at Bank of America, cut target to 285 from 300. And once again, we got, let me see, we can pause things here a little bit. We are back. Equifax down 0.24%. It did recover most of its losses. 280, 85 would be a big jump from where they are today. Bank of America was underwhelmed by the company's Investors Day. Equifax, here we go. Here's a chart of Equifax down 0.24%. See if we could get Evercore going here. Evercore was upgraded to overweight from equal weight at Morgan Stanley and raised target to 312 from $175. And we'll see if we can get Ford to come up. Shift 4 has announced it has signed a definitive agreement to acquire SmartPay for $296.4 million. And Shift 4 payments was up slightly today on that news. State Street Corporation files for mixed shelf size not disclosed, but they rise on the deal, up 1.63%. Looks like a little bit of a breakout from where it had been trading. Novo Nordisk was in the news big time. They affected HIMSS quite a bit earlier today. Said full results from two late-stage trials of experimental weight loss drug Cagrasima show that side effects were mainly mild to moderate, and other outcome results, including blood sugar levels, were positive. Let's take a look at HIMSS. HIMSS was down about 35% on news that Novo Nordisk was no longer going to supply them with a weight loss drug, and they were not happy with similar ingredients that they were selling online as well. Sounds like a possible lawsuit going to be coming in motion. Vertex Pharmaceuticals and Ono Pharmaceutical announced an exclusive collaboration and license agreement for development of and commercialization of Vertex's Prova to Ccept in Japan and Korea. Hopefully I didn't damage that too badly. And Vertex is up 0.61%. And we see if we can get Ono Pharmaceutical up here. And they're down 0.72%, looks like a penny stock. And on to Omnicom. Omnicom was upgraded to neutral from underperform at Bank of America with a price target of $80. They say share in investor concerns around the pending Interpublic merger and related integration risk. Omnicom is up 2%. We'll take a look at the Interpublic. Interpublic is up bigger, up 4.31% on the news. And finally, Wolfspeed announced that as part of its efforts to proactively strengthen its capital structure, it entered into a restructuring support agreement with key lenders, including holders of more than 97% of its senior notes. Renaissance, I believe that's how you say it, Electronics Corporation, wholly owned U.S. subsidiary and convertible debt holders holding more than 67% of outstanding convertible notes. And this is Wolfspeed, down 32% today. Wow. This was at one point a trending stock. See if we can take a look at the weekly report here. Wow, look at that thing just dive. That is not something you buy in a dip. So we're going to take a look at the indexes, financials. Look a whole lot better than Wolfspeed here. Here's a financial sector up 46 cents today. We'll see if it can get in this blue zone. We're also going to take a look at minus Berkshire Hathaway and Visa and MasterCard. This is the KBW bank sector. It was up a little over 1%, up 74 cents today. XLE, which we talked about earlier, the energy sector, was up earlier and then just dived. This is communications where Google and Meta are located. Dived early and then rose, did the reverse of energy. Real estate. Sold off a little bit and rose, still under its 200-day moving average. Utilities. They rose above the 10 and 20-day moving averages there. Biotech. Is in a deep downward trend. The other biotech index looks a little better, but it's still in a downward trend. Looks like it may be trying to work on a cup with a handle. Software. Well, I tell you, this internet is a little bit aggravating. I'm going to pause this here a second. Here we go. Here's the software popping up. It's up about 1.2%. Technology was up a little bit as well. It's up 1.14%, just a little below software. Infrastructure. Infrastructure up 1.48% today. Semiconductors up 0.63%. Jets, airlines were up nearly 2% today. They're working on a cup with a handle, as you can see right here. Leisure activity bounced a little bit. It's been in an odd shaped pattern right here, up 2.43%. And industrials didn't get all of the symbols. Industrials working on an odd shaped pattern right here, trying to break into the pivot. This is healthcare. Healthcare almost looks like the biotech sector. Consumer staples here fought back 1.16%. Building materials were up 1.11% today. Mining and metals, they were up 1.15%. So a lot of the market internals are doing pretty good today. Home builders, they surged. They were up 2.9% today. Looks like that could be the strongest sector of the day. And we'll just take a look at uranium index. Uranium index is up 2%, 2.09. And now I'm going to take a look at a watch list that I worked on over the weekend. Legacy education, they were all up almost to the profit zone earlier today, and they pulled back a little bit, up 3%. FTI pulling back a little bit, along with the rest of the oil and gas. This is Japanese semiconductor. See if we can get that to pop up. Here we got it finally to pop up. It's in the pivot zone here. It's on a weekly. This is on the daily. You can see that the earnings are starting to pop up in a 45-degree angle. It almost looks like it was up 0.7%. I think this is Live Nation. It popped into the pivot zone at 1.22% today. NBIS. Nebius. Looks like they're working on a cup with a handle. This Handle is handling out here. Doesn't really show a cup with a handle, but it's what it kind of appears to me. Net. Pause here. Seem to be having a conflagration again. So here's Cloudflare working on a cup. Not really a handle, but it bounced in back into the pivot zone today. Rocket Lab. It had pulled back here closer to 30, and then it bounced right back. So it got a little buying late in the session. It's a part of the, I believe it's the ITA index. You can see that popped out right over here. Viking and the leisure area sold off and bounced right off of his 20-day and bounced right into the pivot zone again. Credo pulled back a little bit and fought near the back of the day. Sale point kind of sold off to the 10-day moving average and is bounced here. It provides solutions to enable comprehensive identity security for the enterprise. And Ollie. Ollie's bargain market just shot right out of the pivot area. It's up 9% from the pivot in 25 days. And then I'm going to look at Datadog and then one more IPO, and then we'll call it a day. Datadog, trying to bounce up there, and Hinge. Is our other IPO. Blasted up here. It came all the way back down here and then got right back into the pivot area. And after hours, it's up nearly $2 more. And I'm wondering if this is another IPO here. We had 3 of them on the list. Yes, we got the REIT. Up big yesterday and up again big today. So that's our report. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Hope you all have a great day, and I'm glad to be back on the channel.